why don't you go ahead and show your alignment points and let's get right into that conversation.
Yeah, I'd love to. And so just to set up it, the conversation Daryl and I were having on Saturday, I believe, was about just this concept of alignment. And I said, we can make this alignment thing a lot easier if we create alignment in the foundation of the system that we're building. There's a lot of alignment that needs to happen as the system unfolds and as the people start using it. There's a lot of alignment, a lot of collaboration needs to happen, but there's some foundational clarity that if we had it, and I broke it into 5 different types of clarity that are all foundational, that if they align, it sets us up for a very aligned foundation, which doesn't mean we don't have to do the hard work downstream, but it means the hard work downstream becomes more likely to happen the way we want it to, just more likely, not with certainty, but just more likely. And then when we have to fix it, we can always come back. When things go to track, we can always come back to that foundation that we know is aligned. The type of alignment I want to talk about right now is just alignment about the things we need to get clear with in order to create a foundation that makes things easier afterwards. Let me say it again. The alignment I want to talk about is just about the main things. And there's 5. I picked 5, but I could think of 10 more if I wanted to. That would create a foundation that makes everything else easier. And I'd love for the audience and whoever views this in the future on the recording to be thinking about their mission, their system, the things they care about. I don't want this to be about Redirect Health, though I'm going to use Redirect Health and my passion and my mission as examples of these 5 clarities. But I really want the audience, I encourage the audience to just think about their deal. Think about their life, their business, their mission, what they're trying to do in healthcare, because it's going to be different than what I want to do in healthcare, but it's just as important. It's just important in a different direction. So these are the 5 clarities in a nutshell. Just know why you care, the problem you want to solve, who matters most, what strategy you're going to focus on, who are the collaborators, and I want to dive into these 5 clarities, and I'll come back to this at the end and summarize. But just the clarity number 1, know why you care. I mean, I care because I was a business owner. I am a business owner, and I felt like a loser because I couldn't afford the type of healthcare that my people needed, and they couldn't afford what I could afford to get paid for them. And I just didn't feel good about it. I felt like I was failing my people. I felt I was stifling my growth. I had so many bigger dreams that I couldn't even touch because of healthcare back in 2000. I guess it was 6 and 7 at this point, because they'd all turned around at 8 when I changed things in my own company. But you got to know why you care. And because it's going to be hard. It's going to be really hard. And if you don't care enough and you don't know why you care, it's going to be really easy to give up. Or it's going to be really...
And Dave, when you first mentioned this, my thought was every single person has a why.
Yeah.
Everybody has something that they're passionate about. And I think that clarity issue and getting clarity around your alignment, it's asking yourself, what do you care about and why do you care? Because it is the why that gives you the energy to work through the challenges.
Yep. And to get you to not give in, to not compromise, to the point where, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I have been tempted to compromise, and I have compromised only to get a year down the road and go, this isn't even close to what I thought I wanted. Let's reset and let's go back to the foundation. So those 5 things, those 5 clarities, I really want you thinking about at the next level. How do they, I love the main point of what I'm talking about is those five things in the foundation align with one another. They now support one another, and it's harder to get off track. It's harder for outside forces to get you to compromise, because you compromise one thing, one clarity, the other 4 won't let it. It creates a solidness to the foundation. And because if it's important enough, I don't want you giving up. I don't want you giving in. Don't want you compromising. But it will be easy to do that. Clarity number 2.
Before you leave the why, let me just simply say, and I mentioned this at the last presentation, but I love to ask a business leader why they offer benefits. And what I find in so many cases is they don't know why they do it, and they've never sat and thought about it. And that's the biggest missing void in healthcare, is you're spending all this money on something you've never even asked yourself the question is why you do it. It's like, well, I do because I have to. It's a bilateral decision. You can't run a company without offering benefits if you want to expect to hire employees. And that's the extent to which they think about it. And it's not until they really
Yeah.
think about the why that they realize, oh, I'm not holding the system accountable because I'm not getting what I really want, and because I don't hold it accountable.
Daryl, you're describing me from when I started my business in 1997 all the way until I said this is enough of this in 2007. So you just described the first 10 years of Bergen business, or I didn't know why I was doing it. I was doing it because everyone else was. Until the point I got, this is ridiculous. This doesn't even make sense. The math doesn't add up. And I mean, I don't know. I did not get it for 10 years. How I seemed like I felt like I was the only kid on the block. Some kid came from Canada and the math wouldn't work for me. I'm going, we must do math different in Canada because these numbers don't work. My people making $14 an hour, $16 an hour, they can't afford $500,000 going to $1,500 deductibles. And I predicted a $3,000 deductible back in 2008. And how wrong was I, huh? We're at $8,000 deductibles now, I think. But that why is so important. And all leaders know the value of being able to cast vision and to get clear on why they're casting that vision before they get clear on what that vision is. So let me go into the second clarity that has to align with the why. And when I say has to, nothing has to happen, but if it does, gosh, that foundation for whatever you're building or trying to create or wanting to do gets it much, much easier. It's understanding the problem to be solved. It's so hard to understand what problem people are trying to solve in healthcare. When I talk to other folks, and I mean, I know what I want to solve. I want to solve complexity and hidden costs. Complexity that confuses me and my people, and I want to solve the hidden costs that scare us into making silly decisions about going to the emergency room because we have a card and it cost me $6,000 and I don't have $6,000, but I only did it because I was scared. And there's costs there and there's complexity that confuses and scares me. And I want to transform that complexity and those hidden costs in the simple and truly affordable healthcare for everyone in my company first. Now it's for way beyond that. I want to do it in small businesses. But simple and truly affordable healthcare for everyone. For me, that means everyone has meaningful access. And sometimes that means it's got to be after hours because I'm working. Sometimes it means it has to be in a different language because English isn't my first language. And it means that everyone has to have that meaningful access. And it also means everyone has to have affordability. Somebody makes $10 an hour, affordability means something different than somebody who makes $100,000 a year. So understanding the concept of everyone, affordability, any system that's going to be valuable for everyone has to take into account different wage levels and different ability to access healthcare. Clarity number 3 is who matters most. This is so important to understand that. For me, I care about small business and all their employees. You can tell that already from my passion talking about this, but it's just as important if you care about seniors who are trying to get can't get healthcare because they don't have transportation to their doctor. I love it. Right now, that's a very clear vision. I want to help seniors get even more clear. Seniors in Queens, New York, get to their doctor's office once a month, right? And solve the transportation problem, right? So I just want to solve a different problem, but I want people to get aligned with and get clear and have their what they're clear about be aligned. What is the problem they want to solve? Why do they want to solve it? Who are they solving it for in healthcare? And there is no limit of how many people and types of people and categories of people that need different categories of problems solved in healthcare. And I think if we recognize it that way, we all can help each other, right? You don't have to do exactly what I'm doing, Daryl, and I don't have to do exactly what you're doing. And
the problems are in many cases much worse than financial problems. This is about people dying from a system that makes more money, takes 15 minutes to put a stent in someone, and it's easier to do that than it is to take 45 minutes to figure out what the real problem is. So the healthcare system is motivated to do the stent for 15 minutes and make lots of money, $1,500 when they're only gonna get paid $100 to take 45 minutes to find out what the real problem is. It's like,
Yeah.
this is a matter of people's life and death and health that we're talking about.
The next one, the strategy that we want to focus on. And everybody's got advantages. Everybody knows people. We've heard that thing. It's not about what you know, it's about who you know. That goes everywhere. It's not about the strategy you use, it's about what strategy do you know? What strategies are you good at? Are you practiced at? And so for me, I like system thinking. I like system design. I like complex system design. I like engineering complex systems. I engineer complex systems when they don't need to be complex sometimes around making toast. I mean, I just love it. And that's why Doug Eby at Nuka, I mean, I adore that. I just adore what he's doing because I like that. But not other people do. My wife would never build it this way because this isn't the strategy she'd focus on. She'd focus on this strategy of just intense caring. She would care the heck out of you so you would ignore all the fees that were coming your way. All right, she would have a different approach. My approach is system engineering and system design, particularly complex systems. So I want to create a platform. The last clarity that is very important, that it aligns with why you care about it, the problem you want to solve, who matters most, and what your strategy is. Collaborators. It took me, I probably only started thinking about this 5 years ago, and it transformed our business when I started thinking about who can I collaborate with, and got real clear on who were great collaborators, who were good collaborators, who were not collaborators at all. I wasn't clear on it initially, and but I'm so clear right now, and I'll share that with you again for concreteness and just an example. But I encourage everybody who's might be listening to this now or in the future, get clear, create a little filter for yourself. Who are the collaborators that motivate and inspire you and support the things that you care about and align with this foundation and these other 4 clarities? This is me, but I say it's everybody. Don't collaborate with anybody who's not aligned with your mission. And that means, man, I've been disheartened so many times in the healthcare industry because I didn't know what I didn't know, where I'm trying to do a deal with a PBM, let's say as an example, and I get to the 11th hour and I'm so excited about the people, and I find out that I'm trying to remove rebates or put transparency on rebates, and that's 50% of their revenue is rebates. And I'm going, we're not aligned. We can't work together. As much as I love the people and lots of other things are aligned, that's a key misalignment. I want to create transparency, and I want to roll the rebates back into the cost to get them close to zero so we can get better healthcare and all the stuff you care about, that you know I care about: accessibility, affordability, year-over-year financial sustainability. And I can't do that if rebates are hidden. I don't perceive I can do that.